When press day arrives, you can count on it. The quarterback is surrounded by adulators, the split receivers and the defensive backs, the linebackers, the running backs particularly, all the focal point of much attention. But what about the poor offensive center? For the Cowboys, that man is number 51, Dave Manders. Dave, I looked around. There must be at least 25 to 30 television stations and a couple of hundred reporters, and the offensive centers are being ignored again. It's not fair, is it?
Not by Channel 8. Here we are.
I appreciate the plug. Do you ever get used to the anonymity of being down in the middle of that pile?
No, you get kind of lazy, really. Nobody has their eye on you particularly, and it works out okay. I don't mind.
You know, you've had a tremendous career with the Cowboys, and can you recall has there been any specific instance when you did generate a lot of publicity for the name of Dave Manders?
No, I don't believe so, Vern.
Only on the rare occasions when the center goes over the punter's head, huh?
I'll take it back. We had one score that was 31-2 against the Giants back in '65, and the 2 points was caused by the center going over Don's head. So I guess at one time I did get quite a bit of publicity.
Dave, obviously, though, you are an integral part of the Cowboy offensive line, which Coach Landry now refers to as the best they've ever had in Dallas. And it's an amazing thing because of the fluctuation you've had in the line. Don't you think?
Yes, it is. We have only two people in their original positions, John Nyland and, Ralph isn't even in his original position. He's at tackle, but it's the other tackle. And I think what it just shows that we have some fine coaching. We're taught the basics as rookies, our second and third years, and once you learn the basics, you can fit anywhere into our offensive system in the offensive line. And I think it's a great tribute, such as last week, for John Nyland pulled up lame with a Charlie horse in his leg, and a play was called from the sideline, came in, and it meant that John had a pull and trap on that particular play. We just switched in the huddle. Blaine went to John's place, and John went over to Blaine's place and ran the play from there and picked up about 8 yards. So it's a real good feeling. It's a feeling of confidence when you know you have this experience and versatility in the line.
I would suppose, Dave, that things will not change for Baltimore, that you would go with what has brung you, as Darrell Royal might say.
Yes, and I don't think Baltimore is going to change for us, and they're looking extremely well defensively. Defensive front four is very strong and aggressive. Personally, I have Mike Curtis to block the middle linebacker, and he has to rate one of the top 2 or 3 in the league as far as middle linebackers.
It goes without saying, but best of luck to you.
Thank you, Vern. Thank you. And thank you, Channel 8.
Mandy will be there 6 days from today in the center of the line, wearing his number 51, blocking on Mike Curtis. Look for him. He might appreciate it. This is Vern Lundquist, Channel 8 Sports, with the Cowboys in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You know, this is sort of a cold night to be sitting out so long. Do you think you're going to last the night?
Oh, yes, sir. I hope I do anyway.
Plan to go ahead and sleep here or stay up and play Monopoly the rest of the night?
Well, we're supposed to stay here till about 12, and then our parents are supposed to come and relieve us.
In other words, you're sort of getting paid to sit for somebody else right now.
Yes, sir.
How much would it take to pay you to really sit all night long here? Do you think you could take it?
Yes, anything for the Dallas Cowboys to be able to go and watch them play.
Tonight's Cowboy Super Bowl report is brought to you by Gibson's Discount Center. It's Friday. We're just a couple of days away from the Super Bowl, Super Bowl V, between the Cowboys and the Colts. The 40 men are ready for the Dallas Cowboys, and there is one who has almost been forgotten. We'll talk with last year's Rookie of the Year after this message from Gibson's Discount Center. 1 year ago at this time, Calvin Hill was the rage of the football nation. Rookie of the Year, second leading rusher in the National Football League. Now, just a couple of days before the Super Bowl, he's almost a forgotten man, having lost his job because of injuries and the excellence of Dwayne Thomas. It has been, as you might suspect, a year of great frustration for Calvin Hill. Calvin, I know that this must have been a year of frustration for you. That's a supposition of mine, but assuming that it's true, can you put the words of frustration, or can you put the frustration into words?
Well, you know, it's funny. Last year when I had a good personal season, I said, you know, the cake without the frosting is no good. And this year I got the frosting with no cake. So, you know, maybe next year I can put both of them together. It's been frustrating from a personal standpoint. I think it would have been even more frustrating had we not gotten into the playoffs like we did and then come this far. So this sort of takes away a little of the frustration. My main thing now is being ready, in case I'm called upon, and after that's over, to get myself ready for next year, which is going to be my year to redeem myself, I hope.
It may be unfair to ask you to make a comparison between your talents and those of Dwayne Thomas's, but are you a Dwayne Thomas fan in the limited area that you could be?
Yeah. I knew Dwayne before before all of this happened, and he and I are pretty close friends. And I would sounds almost cliche-ish, but if it had to happen. If this had to happen, and it had to happen to me, I'm glad Dwayne did it. There are a lot of considerations. For example, Dwayne gets certain bonuses, I think, for doing gaining a certain amount of yards, and I think he achieved those bonuses. I think, in terms of that Rookie of the Year thing, I think it was, sort of sad and maybe bad that he came on so late in the season, because they take the voting so early. I think maybe Dallas ought to give him the bonus anyhow that they give you for making Rookie of the Year. I think he's a heck of a back, and it's a good thing. I think I'm a Calvin Hill fan, but I'm still a team fan too, and I want the team to be as strong as possible.
Calvin, do you consider yourself injury prone? You've been hurt. You were hurt last year and again this year, brought down by really nagging injuries that seem to persist. Do you think you're injury prone?
I don't know. I've been giving that a lot of consideration. And even thinking about what is injury prone. I've never been hurt as much, I guess, as I have these last 2 years, and I haven't even finished the season, as a matter of fact. But I haven't had any serious injuries. I guess my knees and my ankles, and as long as I can keep those together, I'm going to keep trying. I think maybe I was a little too reckless a couple times this year, and I'll learn from past experience next year. I won't do the same thing.
There are many options for Calvin Hill. He might be moved to tight end, he might be traded, or he might end up as a second-string running back or a first-string running back with the Dallas Cowboys. I think possibly he wouldn't mind being traded to the Baltimore Colts, but that's just one of many options. At any rate, the future looms large. This is Vern Lundquist with the Dallas Cowboys, Channel 8 Sports in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Any way to do that? Will there be more passing, more running?
That we don't know. It depends on the game plan that the coaches come up with. If they think we should stress passing, then we will stress passing. And then again, on a given done the day that we play, depending on how the defense is playing against us. If they give us the pass, we'll take it. If they give us a run, we'll take that.
Dallas has complicated defenses, don't they?
Not that much. They strictly a 4-3 defense, very little blitzing, and they play a combination of secondary. They rely strictly on the pass rush, the 4 men up front to get to the passer in order to knock the passes down. The best pass defense is a good hard pass rush, and that's what they have.
Yesterday at Memorial Stadium, there were some snowballs thrown, primarily at Oakland, but also at the Colts. Should that happen?
Should it happen? No, but you can't control people to that extent. It happened to us up in Buffalo, which was very bush, and I thought the people who threw the snowballs, and also someone threw a bottle out of the stands and broke glass on the field, I thought it was very bush league.
What can be done to control that, and also what can be done to bring fans back? You didn't have a full house yesterday.
Well, I don't have the slightest idea about that. I guess the television had something to do with it. What can be done to control the snowball throwing? I don't see anything you can do, really, except maybe tell them they're going to get arrested if they do it, which is ridiculous because, everyone likes to throw snowballs, and with 60, 80,000 people in the stands, you can't control everybody.
I guess you're dressed for it anyway.
Yes, all right with me.
Tonight's Cowboys Super Bowl report is brought to you by Gibson's Discount Centers. The Dallas Cowboys have been in Florida for the better part of 1 week now. Some reflections on how that week has gone and their reaction to the preparation of Super Bowl V after this message from Gibson's Discount Centers. Rather than a week of fun in the sun, it has been a week of primarily intense preparations for the Dallas Cowboys during the 7 days that they have spent in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Oh, true, we've had the beautiful surroundings here, and we've also had the the beach that has been a part of so many of our background reports that we've sent you during the week. But for the most part, the Cowboys have been quite intense as they prepared for their first encounter in Super Bowl V. The reaction to the press has been just unbelievable. There have been some 25 to 30 television stations who have been here on location constantly throughout the afternoon. 200 or 300 writers who are permanently assigned to this week and who have been a part of the reaction to what has gone on. Perhaps on our half-hour show just a few moments ago, you heard Craig Morton say that he was getting telephone calls from the press at 7:30 in the morning. So it's been difficult. But one has been struck with the loose attitude, primarily of the Cowboys, that they have maintained throughout all of the harassment that has been a part of the week. But I have no doubt that now the tension is beginning to get to them. We are filming this, of course, in the afternoon. It has been 7 days since we arrived. You are watching it at night, which means that the Cowboys are probably thinking their own private thoughts now as they await Super Bowl V. As we film this, I can't help but look down on the beach and see Mike Ditka, the Cowboy tight end, standing on the shores of the Atlantic, no doubt thinking his own private thoughts about the Baltimore Colts and what his responsibilities will be tomorrow. It has been that way all week long. Not a week of joyous fun, but a week of pensive collection of thoughts and a week of intensive preparation of what is to take place in the Orange Bowl in Miami tomorrow afternoon. No one knows, of course, how well the Cowboys will do. One has a hunch that they will do well because they have done so well in the previous 7 weeks under unbelievable pressures. But regardless of the outcome in tomorrow's game, it has been 11 years to Super Sunday, and they are here. This is Vern Lundquist, Channel 8 Sports, with the Cowboys in Miami, Florida.
NBC Sports, a service of NBC News, presents for the championship of professional football, Super Bowl V. The American Conference champions, the Baltimore Colts, versus the National Conference champions, the Dallas Cowboys. From the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, and brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, Extra Care in Engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. And by Goodyear, the only makers of long-wearing polyglass tires. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Football League is proud to present the 5th World Professional Football Championship pregame show. Of today's game is the shield of professional football with the letters NFL, the National Football League, comprised of the National and American Football Conferences, and 26 stars to indicate those 26 football powers whose gladiators of the professional gridiron led us to this confrontation today to determine the champion of the 1970 season. It is only fitting that we take just a moment to recognize those teams who have contributed to this great finale. In the National Conference, the Atlanta Falcons, the Los Angeles Rams, the New Orleans Saints, the San Francisco 49ers, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Washington Redskins. In the American Conference, the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Oakland Raiders, the San Diego Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, the Houston Oilers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Colts, the Boston Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. And the New York Jets, and of course our teams which have reached that pinnacle of championship status, today's contestants, the Baltimore Colts. And here's the biggest Baltimore Colt of them all. And the Dallas Cowboys. Introducing
Johnny Unitas, number 19, and Craig Morton, 14, wish they were that tall to look over that pass rush. The Baltimore Colts and the Dallas Cowboys are getting ready for the opening kickoff. We'll be back in a moment with more about Super Bowl V. Jim O'Brien, in his first regular pro season game, kicked a field goal in the last minute to beat San Diego. He's been slightly erratic at times. He says that is the kick he'll always remember. What about this one? $15,000 riding on this kick for the Colts. 13-13 tie, 9 seconds to go. All right, here you are now. What a spot. And the kick is up. The kick is good. Jim O'Brien with 5 seconds. The Colts lead 16-13.
Quarterback Earl Morrill enjoyed his Super Bowl vindication.
I tell you, this is what we've worked for, and it's a great feeling being on this side, on the winning side, and I'm just happy to be here. I tell you, I hate to see anything happen to Johnny. I just, for myself, getting a chance to come back and play, and we come out on the winning side. Our defense did a tremendous job. Got us that ball back and put us in that scoring position. I'm just tickled pink about it.
Mac, you had to be kind of pleased. It wasn't all that perfection all the way through, but again, your guys knew what to do to win a ball game.
Well, Jack, we had a lot of mistakes yesterday, but they hung in there, and you know, you don't try to fumble the ball or throw interceptions, and those things will happen in football anytime. And then the breaks turned around for us in the second half, and we capitalized on them, and I was really proud of our defense. So all the field position we gave in the first half, all they ended up with 13 points for the ball game. So just great to be a winner.
There's nothing better than being number one. Did you think back early in the season when you had a few reversals that you might be spending this cold night in Baltimore with all these people?
Well, you don't think about those things, Jack, back then. You just try to think about the next game you're going to play and try to work hard, and everything comes out in the long run if you stay with it.
You've had a number of young guys on this club that have done a whale of a job for you this season. That guys who didn't really figure to play for this club.
That's right. No matter who we put in there, I was contented all season. We had 40 starters. No matter who we put in there, they did a fine job, and you got to be proud of people like that.
As we are of you and your staff, Mac. You've done wonders with them. Congratulations, and go enjoy it.
Thank you, Jack.
And get ready for the draft.
Yes, sir.
Go, you